Sir Jungkook whispers high, brow furrowed, and looks down at the man. Yes, will you touch me today? He asks hesitantly, as if there might still be a no for an answer. I will. Taehyung nods too calmly, admiring his baby, and smiles at the corners of his lips. But what you really want to know is where, don't you? Jungkook bites his lip, nodding, and looks up at him through lowered lashes. I'm going to touch you, the man whispers, reaching for his ear. I'm going to touch, baby. I'm going to check if it's good enough to pay that amount of money for it, Mr. Kim. Jungkook immediately shudders, looking at the man a little scared, and tries to pull back so he can see his eyes. Taehyung smiles cheekily, licking his pink plump lips. Could you please, do it without penetration? The man raises an eyebrow, and Jungkook nods in embarrassment, hiding his eyes again. Please. Taehyung is silent for a few seconds, scanning the boy's face with slitted eyes, and Jungkook already has time to think that he will have to use a stop word, break the deal, and also be left with the shameful admission of how he seemed to enjoy feeling the power of Mr. Kim on himself. Taehyung interrupts his failed attempt at making excuses. Fine. The boy looks up in surprise, meeting the same confident expression on the man's face. We'll do that another time, Mr. Kim nods, his smirk breaking out. I'm giving you the opportunity to make requests because I'm making allowance for the fact that this is our first time. The man lowers his tone, leaning into Jungkook's ear again. But don't you think you can run away from it every time? I'm going to try one day, the man whispers hoarsely, watching his movements with contentment and enjoying breaks into a smirk when, a few minutes later, the boy grits his teeth, holding back another whine, and looks down. Taehyung admires, and wraps his arm around Jungkook's neck, forcing him to stop and freeze. Jungkook breathes hoarsely and heavily, his bare chest heaving high with deep breaths. Did I do something wrong, Mr. Kim? He whispers softly, looking at the man with a blurred look and a hint of pity. No, Taehyung shakes his head. I just want you to sit still for a bit, he grins, tightening his hand around the boy's neck. You're shaking so much. The man keeps a close eye on him, waiting for the red, but Jungkook just keeps trembling, looking at the man in fear and waiting to see what happens next. Well, Taehyung thinks, if it's not red, it's green. He grins even more clearly, and then, looking intently into the boy's eyes, leans towards him. Taehyung would even think that Jungkook is really scared. But the boy was too serious, repeating that he memorized the stop word, so it turns out. Taehyung smirks. It's okay. Jungkook can pretend he doesn't like it all he wants, but he still hasn't stopped anything. He didn't say red. So you love to be punished and rewarded, don't you, baby? Taehyung whispers, and Jungkook feels his hot breath unexpectedly close to his face. You do like it, sir? Please, do you know how I praise good boys, baby? Taehyung whispers seductively, licking the boy's cheekbone, and Jungkook shivers again, losing the last bit of control over his own body. How, he asks, swallowing too quietly. I make good boys come, Taehyung whispers, grinning as he runs his nose behind his ear, inhaling the scent of soft hair. Were you a good boy, baby? Oh, sir, Jungkook whimpers, frowning deeper. No, I'm sorry, the boy admits, disappointed in himself, and Taehyung is surprised to realize that this is sincere. Oh, don't worry, baby. He touches Jungkook's jaw with his fingers, then pats his cheek indulgently. It's our first time, isn't it? and I think I'm in a good mood today to forgive you for your awful behavior, Mr. Kim. You have to watch, he commands, pulling away from his neck. You have to look me in the eye. I want to see your face when you finish. Jungkook forces himself to open his eyes, suddenly realizing that he's been weeping from exertion all this time, and the tiny tears that have gathered in the corners are running down his temples, hiding somewhere in his hair. He looks at the man, who, catching his gaze, God, he curses harshly, throwing his head back for a few seconds, but quickly remembers Mr. Kim's order, so he raises it again, looking at the man. You can't ask me for anything. The man shakes his head, deliberately slowing down all his movements and still holding Jungkook tight. I beg you, sir. Mr. Kim, please. The boy sobs. I'm so close, sir. Too impatient, Taekook sighs in an exaggerated way, and then too slowly begins to move his hand again. I'll have to teach you how to behave, please, sir. Jungkook groans loudly, forgetting about everything further than this bed, and the only thing he can still think about is how badly he needs to come right now. Please, you can punish me, Mr. Kim, the boy whimpers, squirming on the bed under his arm. Please, I really want to finish. Please, I'll do everything. Taekook snorts. Taekook does his best to gently rid Jungkook. The boy whimpers, now fully aware of how much they hurt, and Taekook smiles out of the corner of his lips, running his fingers down his spine until he breaks the contact, touching the too desired place for the last time and hearing a quiet moan. Still so sensitive. You're good, the man states, wiping his fingers on the crumpled sheet and getting up from the bed, and slowly walks to the chair, taking his jacket from its back and quickly putting it on. We'll do it again, I'm more than pleased with you, he grins, looking back at Jungkook still on his stomach and swollen, reddened wrists that would definitely carry the memory of a man's leather belt for a good couple days. Taekook fishes several large bills from the inside pocket of his jacket and tosses them on a small table. Your money is on the table. Now get some rest and then go home. You're done for today. It's the last thing Jungkook hears before the door closes loudly, leaving him alone with himself in a hazy awareness of everything that just happened. Jungkook sits at the counter in a coffee shop in the evening, when the autumn sun is already beginning to roll towards the horizon, and a cool wind is rising outside the window. He shudders, feeling a slight shiver, sips some coffee from his mug and continues to read the textbook, now and then highlighting with a colored marker what he needs to remember and memorize for the next class. Today's class went almost well, considering that he even somehow managed to defend his project with a fairly passable score. Excuse me? Hi, a male voice comes from somewhere above, causing Jungkook to close his textbook with a highlighter instead of a bookmark lying between the pages, and look up. A man smiles at him from the other side of the counter. Oh, it's him again. Oh, hello. Jungkook rises up, pushing his textbook aside and straightening his crumpled dark apron. Good evening. He smiles only with the corners of his lips. Is there anything I can help you with? Hi, Jungkook. The customer puts on an even more charming smile, bending over the counter to lean a little closer to the boy. Oh, Jungkook is at a loss. You really did remember my name. He purses his lips in confusion. Yeah, I really did. Is it forbidden? The man laughs, looking at him intently, and the boy looks away. No, it's just a bit unusual. Sorry. I didn't mean to offend you in any way, sir. It's okay. The brunette nods confidently at him before looking up at the menu hanging above Jungkook's head. So can I order a coffee? It's a coffee shop, sir. The boy smiles, nodding. I think I can figure something out for you. Great, he chuckles, nodding, and once again passes his gaze, and then looks back at the list of variations. One cappuccino, please. Dark roasted. And add some syrup, maybe? Something sweet, but not cloying. Okay. Jungkook nods as he quickly taps his order into the cash register. Do you prefer grain milk or an ordinary one? The ordinary one works just fine with me. Jungkook nods, smiling at him. He names the price, pulling up the terminal, because he has already remembered that the man almost always pays for the order with a card, and only rarely in cash, but he always mentions it himself. The boy begins to prepare coffee, turning away, and realizes that the customer is still standing at the counter, seemingly watching him. Jungkook feels that unwavering gaze on him, similar to the ones the men give him at the moth, but he can't figure out yet why it feels the same. The cafe is empty. There were no visitors for almost the whole day, so no one bothered Jungkook at all. And now it doesn't even seem like such a bad deal to distract his brain from the amount of information that he has already managed to absorb while sitting at the textbook. After all, Jungkook is being paid to brew coffee here. I still can't get your schedule right, the man suddenly speaks, and Jungkook almost drops milk carton from his hands. He gives the man a frightened glance over his shoulder. Excuse me, every time I think I know what days you work, it turns out that I come and find out that I was wrong and you're not here. Jungkook frowns and curls his lips in an incomprehensible grimace, glad that right now he's turned away and the visitor does not see it. Why the hell does he need to know his schedule? The boy doesn't understand. He starts frothing the milk, taking advantage of his busyness to avoid answering. Cause Jungkook doesn't know what to say. Since when do customers try to memorize his work schedule at all? So won't you tell me? The guest continues, and Jungkook exhales noisily as he watches the coffee machine work. He turns it off, quickly pouring the milk, and turns around, putting the cup on the counter, and then putting on a smile on his face again, although he feels an unintelligible shadow of an unpleasant excitement in his stomach. Here's your coffee, sir. Jungkook. The man doesn't touch his cup, continuing to stare at the boy. Did I scare you in some way? What? Why, well, the man laughs, reaching for sugar. It seems that you're not eager to say anything after my confession. No, I don't know why you need to know my schedule, and it's a bit weird, so I don't know, sorry. The man accidentally spills the sugar, tearing open the bag, and raises his eyebrows in embarrassment and surprise. Oops. Sorry, I was just so lost looking at you. It's okay, just let me. Jungkook starts fumbling, glad he can switch his attention from answering to wiping off the sugar, and reaches for the rag he usually wipes the counter with. So can you tell me what your work is, sir, so that I know when I should stop by to buy coffee from you? Excuse me. Jungkook pauses, frowning slightly at the man, but, fearful of his stare during eye contact, he continues to nervously wipe the counter again. I don't think I should tell you, besides, my schedule is fickle and ouch. God damn it, ouch, it hurts, he exclaims, frantically shaking his hand when the cup that was next to the man's hand is accidentally hit by one of them. Jungkook did not have time to notice if he did it himself, for this was the fault of the guest, and knocked over, and all of the liquid is now on his hand. Hot coffee scorching his skin and splattering the sleeve of his light-colored sweatshirt makes Jungkook whine painfully, keep fanning his arm and squint to endure the pain of the hot water burn. Jungkook, I'm so sorry, the man says loudly, immediately reaching for napkins standing nearby. I'm sorry, it's just an accident. I didn't notice this cup. Jungkook whimpers, biting his lip, and the man grabs his hand as he starts wiping the coffee off. It's okay. It's okay, the visitor repeats, continuing to rub off the hot drink soaking into the fabric. And Jungkook doesn't have time to notice how the man, having thrown crumpled dirty napkins on the counter, rolls up the sleeve of the boy's sweatshirt, covered with a large dark spot. No, please don't. Jungkook bites his cheek, realizing it's too late, when the man freezes and continues to hold his wrist, now staring intently.